How exposed is my job?
Lots of people are interested in understanding what types of jobs are going to be affected.
He funded the tourism into
but we're not always an educator.
Appreciation to the esteemed professor.
Mendorong penelitian berkualitas.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable President Director of ID SciPub or Indonesian Scientific Publication, Dr. Novita Rulandari. The Honorable Director of Operations, Ms. Putri Ayu Lestari. The Honorable Speaker, Professor Guo Weiwei from Michigan State University. The Honorable Speaker, Dr. Helen Crompton, Executive Director, Research Institute for Digital Innovation in Learning, ODU Global Professor of Instructional Technology, Old Dominion University. The Honorable Moderator, Andri Dayarana K. Silalahi, PhD, the Distinguished Head of Yayasan Pendidikan Administrasi Indonesia, or YPAI, Hajah Eni Aziza, the Distinguished Head of STIMIK Mercusuar Bekasi, Corizon Sinar Araini SAMM, the distinguished guests and participants of International Conference. Good morning from Jakarta, Indonesia. As we have different time, I have also to say good afternoon and good evening, or maybe late evening, dear speakers and participants who are not in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I have to welcome all of you in the program of Indonesian Scientific Publication International Conference 2024 with the theme, The Future of Work with AI. Praise is always be given to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the blessing and guidance so that we can be here today to attend the international conference. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's start the program by reciting Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And before we start other program, I would like to inform all the program for today. It will be started by opening, continued by singing National Anthem Indonesia Raya, and then watching ID SciPub profile, welcoming speech from the chairman of the committee, conference session, question and answers, conference summary, and award certificate, and closing. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, singing National Anthem Indonesia Raya and followed by the audience.
Indonesia
The next agenda is watching ID SciPub profile.
Indonesian Scientific Publication ID SciPub berdedikasi untuk memajukan pengetahuan dan penelitian di dunia ilmiah. Kami ingin mengajak Anda untuk menjelajahi lebih dalam tentang peran kami dalam mendukung kemajuan ilmu pengetahuan melalui layanan publikasi kami. Mari bersama-sama melihat lebih dekat tentang ID SciPub. Visi kami adalah menjadi penerbit yang unggul dalam mempublikasikan hasil penelitian, memfasilitasi pertukaran pengetahuan lintas disiplin, serta memberikan kontribusi nyata pada perkembangan ilmiah di seluruh dunia. Sebagai cerminan dari visi tersebut, misi kami adalah menyediakan platform penerbitan untuk berbagi pengetahuan dan hasil penelitian yang berdampak terhadap perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan. Sebagai bentuk komitmen terhadap visi dan misi kami, ID SciPub telah berhasil mengembangkan sejumlah jurnal dalam berbagai bidang studi. Beberapa di antaranya yaitu Data, Journal of Information System and Management, Summa, Journal of Accounting and Tax, Legalis, Journal of Law Review, Eduscape, Journal of Education Insight, Medicor, Journal of Health Informatics and Health Policy. Di era globalisasi dan informasi, Indonesian Scientific Publication berdiri sebagai platform penting dalam menerbitkan artikel ilmiah. Kami bukan hanya sekedar penerbit, kami adalah katalisator kemajuan penelitian dan penyebaran pengetahuan di berbagai bidang ilmu. Proses editorial ilmiah dalam publikasi jurnal adalah kunci untuk memastikan kualitas artikel ilmiah yang diterbitkan.
Indonesian Scientific Publication merupakan platform dalam menerbitkan artikel ilmiah berfokus pada kemajuan penelitian serta pengetahuan di berbagai bidang ilmu. Tekad kami adalah menjadi wadah publikasi yang bereputasi nasional dan internasional, mendorong penelitian berkualitas serta menjunjung etika publikasi dan integritas.
Kami di ID SciPub mengundang para peneliti, akademisi, dan ilmuwan dari berbagai disiplin ilmu untuk bergabung dengan kami dalam memajukan dunia ilmiah. Kami yakin bahwa karya ilmiah Anda memiliki potensi besar untuk memberikan kontribusi berharga pada perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan. Melalui jurnal-jurnal kami yang beragam dan proses editorial, kami berkomitmen untuk mendukung dan mempublikasikan penelitian berkualitas di seluruh dunia. Ayo bergabung dengan ID SciPub dan berikan kontribusi Anda untuk kemajuan ilmiah.
Thank you for watching ID SciPub profile. So we know more about Indonesian scientific publication, and hopefully we can do collaboration in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform you that today's conference is also facilitated with interpretation. If you want to use Indonesian, you can click the menu IDN or Indonesia. Let me continue the program. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is welcoming speech from Chairman of the committee. I would like to invite Dr. Novianita Rulandari, MSc Sikar CTT, to deliver a speech. Time is yours.
Good morning.
The Honorable Speaker, Professor Gua Weiwei from Michigan State University, the Honorable Speaker, Dr. Helen Crampton, Executive Director, Research Institute for Digital Innovation in Learning, the Honorable Moderator, Andri Dayarana Kasilalahi, PhD, the Distinguished Head of Yayasan Pendidikan Administrasi Indonesia, YPAI, Haji Eni Aziza, the Distinguished Head of Estetik Mercusuar Bekasi, Corizon Sinar Araini SAMM, and the distinguished guests and participants of international conference. Good morning. I extend a warm welcome to everyone at the International Conference on the Future of Work with AI. As the chair of the organizing committee, I am honored to open this highly significant event. This conference is organized by Indonesian Scientific Publication in collaboration with Estetik Mercusuar as a co-host. The aims of this conference is to discuss how artificial intelligence will transform the work landscape in the future. AI will not only create new types of jobs that we have never imagined before, but it will also significantly alter the jobs we have today. In the next few years, we will witness a major transformation across industry sectors. For instance, routine and repetitive tasks currently performed by humans will increasingly be automated by smart machines. Jobs such as data analysis, customer service, and even some creative aspect will be supported by AI, allowing for higher efficiency and more accurate outcomes. And furthermore, the emergence of AI will open up new opportunities in previously untapped areas. Professions such as AI specialists, data scientists, and robotic engineers will become increasingly in demand. This means we must be prepared to face this change by developing new skills relevant to the demands of the times. The needs for learning will also undergo significant change. We need not only understand how AI technology works, but also to develop strong analytical, problem-solving, and interpersonal skills. And lifelong learning will be a key in ensuring that we remain relevant and competitive in an ever-changing job market. And in this context, it is important to note that the role of educational and training will be crucial, and curricula needs to be adapted to integrated AI-related knowledge and skills from the basic and to the level advanced. Indonesian Scientific Publication, we felt the need to host this event. As a scientific publishing company that currently manages over 30 scientific journals across various fields, including AI, we have a responsibility to support the dissemination of knowledge and research development in this area. And today, our speakers are expert in their fields. First, we will hear from Professor Gua Weiwei, and researcher with a Scopus index of 30, who will share deep insight on AI in science and health. And we will gain perspective from Helen Crampton, with a Scopus H index of 21, who has conducted extensive research on the implementation of AI in education and learning. The session will be moderated by Andri Dayarana, PhD, a researcher with many publications in Scopus, who will guide our discussion today. I also want to take this opportunity to invite all participants to publish their research finding and scientific article in the journal we manage. Our editorial team is ready to assist you to the publication process with full support to ensure the quality and credibility of each published article. I hope this conference will provide new insight and inspiration for us all in facing the future of work increasingly influenced by AI. Thank you and enjoy the conference.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the next agenda is international conversation with the theme, The Future of Work with AI. Our moderator for this international conference is Dr. Andri Dayarana Kasilalahi. Let me read his brief CV. Dr. Andri Dayarana Kasilalahi, postdoctoral researcher, Department of Business Administration, College of Management, Chaoyang University of Technology, Taichung, Taiwan. His academic journey in marketing and consumer behavior particularly focused on emerging technologies, AI, and green marketing, place him at the position of forefront of exploring and influencing how digital advancements shape consumer decision making, and his PhD in marketing, specialized in consumer behavior, underpins his research, which investigates the interplay between technology and environmentally sustainable consumer practices. His publication and collaborations in this field emphasize the strategic use of AI to foster eco-friendly consumer habits. He graduated from Universitas HKBP Nomensen, Indonesia, and his PhD in Department of Business Administration in from Chaoyang University of Technology, Taiwan. He got several awards, fellowship, and honor, such as First Best Paper Award in 2020 and 2023 in International Conference on Information Management and Technology, receiving Excellent Scholarship from Chaoyang University of Technology, Taiwan, becoming a recipient of Elite Scholarship for PhD studies in Chaoyang University of Technology. He has research experience, teaching experience, and has published some books, journal with Scopus Q1, Q2, Q4, which I cannot read all titles of the journal. Besides he's a lecturer, he's also an editor and a reviewer for journals, and often invited to be a speaker for a conference or seminar. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome our moderator, Dr. Andri Dayarana Kasilalahi.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Rejeki, for a brief introduction of myself. Good morning, everyone from Taiwan, I would say, and also from Indonesia. The time difference between Taiwan and Indonesia is only 1 hour ahead from here. So now in Taiwan is 9:20. So welcome to Inspire. Inspire is our theme today, right? It stands for Indonesian Scientific Publication International Conference, and we'll discuss about the future of work with AI. The Honorable President of Director, Indonesian Scientific Publication, Director of Operations, our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Guowei Wei from Michigan State University and Dr. Helen Crumpton Executive Director, Research Institute for Digital Innovation in Learning and Global Professors of Instructional Technology, Old Dominion University. Head of Yayasan Pendidikan Administrasi Indonesia, STMIK Mercusuar Bekasi, and all distinguished guests and conference participants. Welcome again to our Inspire Conference Day. My name is Andri Dayarana Kasilalahi. I know, right? It's too long. You can call me just Andri. As briefly introduced myself by Miss Rejeki, I'm a postdoctoral research at Chaoyang University of Technology that is in Taiwan. It's my honor today, everyone, to serve as a moderator for our keynote session. This session will become very, very interesting to me. I hope that will be very interesting for all of you guys as well. Since recently, I've conducted some research in regards to AI applications on education, and I found some very, very interesting finding as well. And of course, in some other areas as well, such as business intelligence, marketing, consumer behavior research, and some health industries as well. It was come to our observation that eager marketing definition today has come to the bigger unknown, where the customers as the users and AI are live side by side with them now. Therefore, it is inevitable for them as a students, I would say as a students, teachers, marketers, and so on, to leverage AI's capability in supporting their business in the future endeavors. However, research have found the complexity of AI's benefit also has its disadvantages to various aspects such as misinformation, unethical practices, and so on, you can name it. Therefore, we on this conference today striving to find elaboration and guidelines of how AI should be leveraged in a good ways, right? Especially in a work environment. Before we dive into fascinating presentations from our distinguished speakers today, I would like to greet Professor Wei. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. And Dr. Crumpton, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Nice, nice. So before we dive more into presentations, I would like to read some jokes, and you can answer that as well. Why did the rabbit go on a diet? The answer is because it had too many bites. I know, right? And with that, let's bite into our first presentation. It's my honor to introduce our first distinguished speakers, Dr. Wei, and his presentations will explain deeply about AI in science and health. I would like to read before we proceed and learn about Dr. Wei's topic today. Allow me to read a short introduction of Dr. Wei. Dr. Wei received his doctorate from the University of British Columbia and currently holds the position of MSU Research Foundation, professor of mathematics at Michigan State University. He has pioneered novel computational methods that integrate profound mathematical structures with artificial intelligence, leading into victories in worldwide drug design competition and the discovery of SARS-CoV-2 evolutionary mechanism. He has earned numerous awards and honors. Of course, that will be way from me, including the Fellowship of AIMBE. In addition, he collaborates with premier pharmaceutical companies on drug discovery, and he has served extensively on various national and international panels, committees, and journal editorship as well. Many of his former trainees now hold faculty positions in research universities worldwide. All right, Dr. Wei, I believe it's the time for you to share the screen. While you're sharing the screen, let me briefly go over the guidelines for our keynote sessions. Each speaker will have about 40 minutes to present their materials and topic, followed by a Q&A later on. after the session, I mean, both presentations, about 20 minutes, where the audience can ask questions and engage in the discussions with the keynote speakers at the end of both presentations. However, the audience the discussions with keynote speakers will be the end of the presentations. However, the audience are allowed to type their questions on live chat feeders during the sessions will be read at the end of the presentations. For interactive discussions, like two-way discussion later on, between the audience and keynote speakers will be the end of the presentations, and audience are allowed to use raise hand features to deliver their questions. All right, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Wei to present his material. Dr. Wei, now this session is yours.
Okay, could you let me to share the screen? Yeah.
Right.
You put me as the co-host or something like that, right?
Right. I believe co-host, please allow Dr. Wei and Dr. Krantam to share their screen. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and the presentation should be initiated, Dr. Wei. Thank you very much. Now this session is
Okay.
yours.
It's in the full screen now?
Yes, it's visible, full screen now.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, the title, I put the title, actually, I realized it's too big for me. I mean, this is impossible for me to say everything, all different aspects in the AI, for AI in the science and in the health. So I can only talk a small fraction of things like that. So actually, I'm in the Michigan State University. I'm in the mathematics, but also biochemistry, molecular biology, electron and computer engineering. I've been doing AI and for more than 10 years. So I just wanted to say for AI in the science, there's something we need to talk about. It's a different way for doing scientific research. In the early days, for 100 years, we are basically doing experiments. But you know, in the past a few hundred years, we actually tried to use a model-based or theoretical basis approach, particularly mathematical and physical theory model. And only in the 1950s, because the available of computer, we are doing computer simulations. But in the past 10 years or so, this is so popular and so powerful to use data-driven scientific discovery and use AI, machine learning, and data science. Everything just like that is just booming everywhere, not only in the US, but also in China, Indonesia, and other places. So when you talk about AI, I mean, these people will think about a picture like this, all kinds like even the Go games, things like that, has a tremendous impact in the Asian country like Taiwan, Japan, China. People love to play those things. And if a Go master, they think you actually is a really intelligent guy. But just about 10 years ago, they realized those Go masters actually cannot beat the machine. A machine actually can beat the Go master. And then almost immediately in China, Japan, South Korea, and those places, people pay attention to AI and machine learning because they say, okay, this is almost impossible thing to do. So if you actually see this things, the Turing Award, this is basically like a Nobel Prize in computer science was given to the AI. Those people make bigger contributions. So, and AI also, you may see things like that. This is just a neuron network and something in scientifically, one of the most important things is AlphaFold. But you probably also realize recently there are some things over there, so-called ChatGPT in the past couple of years. Particularly the stock market is booming in the past 2 years. That's all basically due to the ChatGPT. Only actually in the past, actually last week, we have a ChatGPT 4.0. This is the new thing, has a tremendous function, very powerful. I would encourage you to explore what is going on there. So when we talk about AI, machine learning, and also deep learning, what is the relationship between those three? So AI is basically the study of the machines that mimic human convolution function in the learning environments and also solving the problems. When you talk about machine learning, so you realize this machine learning is a subset of the AI, but it's just the study of a computer algorithm that can improve automatically through the data and experience. So deep learning is another subset.
I'm really sorry, Dr. Wei. I believe there is some problems with the sharing the PowerPoints because the screen seems to be on the first slide. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, maybe I can reshare the things again. Yeah, okay.
right.
Oh, it's disabled by the. Yeah, could you make me as a co-host? I cannot share the
Oh.
screen actually.
All right. So please, all the organizer, add Professor Wei as a co-host. Right. Now you are the co-host.
Okay, okay. So that's maybe the reason, right?
Okay.
Now can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can. It's visible, but it's not in the full version.
Well, how about now?
Right. It's start from the beginning.
Right, right. So I just tried. Did you see this ones before?
Right. Not completely.
Oh, sorry. So that's maybe something wrong with the sharing, right? I
Right.
think it's now. I have the power to share now, right? Right. So basically, I said there are 4 different ways: experimental, and then there's a model-based method, and then computational approach, and AI approach. Nowadays we have that, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. And then from there, I'm talking about for in machine learning and AI. You have to think about those type of picture like Go games, things like that, and AlphaGo. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's quite visible now. It's very
Right,
clear.
and also I change it. I'm moving right. I said that there's a lot. It's a Turing Prize, and in 2019 is given to those 3 gentlemen for their tremendous contribution to these topics, right? And when you talk about AI, one of the most important things for AI in the scientific discovery is AlphaFold. This is actually for protein folding. So it's a major challenge in the science. And then you have just a ChatGPT. This is already a couple of years old, and also just last week we have a ChatGPT 4.0. Can you see that, right? Yeah. So, and then I try to say the relationship, what is the AI and machine learning and deep learning. So AI is a bigger concept, include machine learning as a sub concept, and also deep learning is a subset of the machine learning, because this part is just use artificial neural network. So there are all kinds of different machine learning algorithms for sure. I mean, it takes like one class to do these things. You don't have to know everything about this. So basically, you have a support vector machine, random forest, and ensemble learning, and then deep learning like neural network and CNN, convolutional neural network, and natural language processing has become very big nowadays, because the reason for that is something like a transformer and autoencoder. Those are the things that are based on natural language processing. And the transformer actually underpins the recent developments like ChatGPT I just mentioned a moment ago. And not to mention a lot of other more mathematical-oriented methods like manifold learning, geometric learning, topological deep learning. So when you think about those AI, how they're capable, I just wanted to show you some picture actually generated 6 years ago. So basically, if you have a few people, they have put an air glass over there. You can actually use AI to synthesize the image. And then there are some people without a glass. Also, you have another person, and then just add this thing together and some lady's face, and from there you actually get a lot of ladies' face with glass, things like that. That's what AI can do. This is something many years ago, like 7 years ago, people were already doing that. This is the other technique is also 2017. You see, at this point, some design job is taken over by AI because you put this type of prototype there, and then they design all different clothes, and also include females' clothes, and also design the shoes, things like that. So in this way, you can see the AI actually basically take over a lot of jobs in that type, and also AI can take the job. For example, you can ask it change zebra into horse, and also you can other way around. You can change just interchange each other, and also you can use AI actually input is some type of photo, and then it get out of printings, but printing in the many different of styles, like Van Gogh or some other style over there. So, and also you can go from a painting to photos, right? So if you just give an input as oil painting over there, it's give you a photo. This is the oil painting, and give you a photo. So it's other way around. And also nowadays you use ChatGPT, and like ChatGPT-4, this is something we played a little bit, and then you can see you can have this type of, if you want to draw it by yourself, it's impossible. But if we just play with this ChatGPT 4, just for a few days, you are able to generate a picture like that, and then you can fix the English if it's not correct, and then you can fix it, and also you can do modification locally. And nowadays we can use these things to design, and like a publisher, and you see cover page or things like that in the journal. So you can use those things to use ChatGPT for the cover design. And also ChatGPT has AI play a major important role nowadays in the weather forecasting. And actually, if the short-term forecasting, like 2 days or something, is very accurate with AI nowadays. Even long-term forecasting actually is tremendously improved by AI. Battery design, magnetic control of nuclear fusion reactors, things like that, is use AI a lot, both in US and Europe and China. They have this type of things. Also can plan the chemical synthesis pathways, and also solve differential equation in the mathematics. So hydropower station location, you want to put in such a way such that it's optimized, things like that. And and also language model. So large language model in the biological research, like protein sequence, things like that. So high throughput virtual screening, just for drug discovery, so on and so forth. I don't want to mention. It's tremendously impact all kinds of different way for doing research, particularly different discipline, chemistry, physics, biology, material science. So everything you can just think about. So this is something we actually did things like that. If we have a global warming, you see there's a dry, it's very dry weather, things like that. You can have a plants have a problem, and then we actually can somehow just genetically change the genes of those plants, and then such that you come up with the plants actually they become drought resistancy. So with this type of technique, we also can actually cure a lot of human diseases, things like that. So this is something we actually very particularly getting excited nowadays. This is brain-computer interface. This thing has been there for a long time, but only recently. So you see the Neuralink is a first human brain-computer implemented just in the later January. So this is what is, you are just wonder what this can do. This actually can, some people get help if somebody cannot speak or they cannot move. And then with this type of AI implement in the brain, it can make the person can move. Not only that, but also can use to deal with a lot of disease. For example, many people have drug addiction problem. with a certain type of implants of the AI or neuron circuits in the brain actually can deal with such a problem. And also some other neuron developmental infectious-related problems and autoimmune problems, things like that. All kinds of neurological disorders can be fixed by those type of AI. I'm getting very much excited about this because my research also is about biological things, and I understand the principle why this type of thing is going to work. So that's why I think this is a very important thing. That's going to have a tremendous impact for the human. So actually, AI-assisted health science, well, AI-assisted things like that, it actually goes a long time ago. You see, it's a data back to 1956. So there's the first actually mentioned about and also have a discipline. So in the US about that. In the 60s, so there was the first ASPR system, so-called Danjo, and that's developed by identify what is the bacteria and how to have a treatment, things like that. In the 80s, actually expanding of computer and increased network and connectivity allow AI system in the healthcare to adapt to imperfect data and also utilize physician expertise. In the 2010s, so you have all kinds of genetic sequencing, like first the human gene as the databases become available, and also AI in the electronic health records, things like that. And the natural language processing, this has become extremely important things nowadays. So you can see, and then in the past 5 years or so we have a drug discovery, just tremendous many companies, they have a drug discovery use AI, and also preclinical preclinical research, and also personalized health care, and also ChatGPT. Everybody knows that ChatGPT actually is responsible for the financial or for the stock booming in the past 2 years in the US. A lot of AI-related stock market stock has become increased value dramatically in the past couple of years. So I mean, also you think about AI-assisted health science, diagnosis and early detection and education and training use AI. That's play a tremendous role, and also AI for the treatment and also for other personalized medicine. So actually nowadays with AI technique, AI can actually analyze or process a huge amount of information in seconds, and also provide more precise diagnostics and also analysis, can spark some type of anything where in the much small detail things sparks in the much more efficient way than human can do. AI-assisted surgery, this is something has been there in the past 30 years, but actually recently this has become much more developed. So help the surgery in the many different ways, actually perform some surgery automatically without human intervention. And AI-assisted decision making, this is become something in the healthcare. Actually, AI actually can somehow analyze all the data record and provide a data-driven insight into help health professionals to make a faster and more precise decision, and also can administrate like a precision medicine. AI-assisted treatment of disease, this is actually AI can be used more inclusively and quantitatively, and personalized treatment plan can come up. And also AI-assisted precision medicine, this is a precision medicine incorporated individual genetic information, excuse me, and also diagnostic data and pass the patient condition and make suggestions how to do personalized medicine. For example, you probably heard some cases, some type of like a person has a cancer, particular cancer, and then we wanted to analyze this particular person's like a genetics, and then to see if some type of genetic treatment can be used. In such case, you want to personalized medicine. So that's medicine only good for one particular person. So an AI assistant pharmacology, so you can see AI predict the drug dose and the frequency and the safety and personalize the frequency and personalize the dose, things like that. And actually this type of research, this type of modeling and AI is actually make it possible by those type of things in the just systems biology and pathways, and also those type of biomechanics and pass the tissue engineer and tissue science and pass a lot of things like patient-specific study and simulation, and certainly with AI, and this makes it possible. And also AI assistant end of life care, and so everybody is going to face that eventually. So so this is a palliative care. So basically use AI to identify the care situation. And then to see who are the likely in the last year of the life, and in such a case you have put into this stage. And then for that, the next stage is hospice care. Hospice care is basically you don't want to do any further treatment instead, but you want to identify the patient's palliative and other care setting, such that you want to person want to have the pain in the last stage of life. And also use AI, you can identify which patient is actually going to be in the last few days of the life, and then you want to make a lot of decisions, like to see if the person needed to readmit to the hospital, things like that. So AI actually make all kinds of help people make this type of improve in the this end of life care. AI is become a tremendous part of in the US, particularly US the healthcare. So healthcare is a huge part in the US. So US healthcare industry is actually about 18% of US GDP. So it's about healthcare. So it's also getting much more expensive. So and then AI can actually help people to have a better healthcare and also better management healthcare, and such that to reduce the cost of healthcare. And when you think about it, you say healthcare is 18% of GDP. What does that mean? Because that means health sales and facility, nursing house, laboratory, hospital, and healthcare marketing, insurance. There's a lot of big part of that. And also pharmaceutical company, research and developments, and health technology device and equipment, and health administration, and also management. That's also a part of the problem, right? So AI in the healthcare, this is the one thing I very impressive from my personal experience. So electronic health record. I don't know how much is in the Indonesia, but this is a big part in the US. In the past few years, all for my electronic health record, I don't have anything with deal with the paper. Anything is now is everything in the computer. So everything in my PC. I can go there and look at every record I have over there, right? And also, overall, AI has the potential to significantly improve healthcare by enabling healthcare professionals to make a more accurate diagnostic and develop more effective treatments, and will provide personalized healthcare. But there's something we must be careful, because there's an ethnic issue over there with this type of new technology and AI algorithm. We must be be careful about the transparency and also explainable procedure, and also want to make sure actually the privacy and also personal information and also patients' rights get respected. And those are the issues we can discuss more. And this has become a big part of AI in the US nowadays, because the US actually protect the privacy, as put it as a very important position, right? So this is a record you can see nowadays is 90% of healthcare things documents are in the electronics. Before 2015, there's some other electronic record, but nowadays actually this one is indicating the particular type of record over there is an authorized record. Nowadays, it just means you cannot just arbitrarily put all patients' record, just collect information. It has got to be authorized. So this is since that time, everything got to be authorized. So you can see the record in that way. It's over 90%. So basically, as I mentioned, everything of my record is in my computer. And also doctor can access that. And also remote patient monitoring usage, this is become the percentages of the population is getting higher. And also in terms of millions of people, 70 million people in the US also use this type of remote monitoring and AI assisted monitoring device, right? Like a electronic watch, right? Things like that, right? And this is actually how the AI related machine learning related research in the venture capitals in the US. You can see this is the last part is drug discovery enabled by machine learning. You can see this part is growing in the past few years from 12% to 22%, increase faster. And other different parts like cell therapy, this part, and also Lexigene therapy, this is a part. This is a decreasing. This is also decreasing. So, but the machine learning part is increasing. And this is the record is a submission to the FDA. That's the Food and Drug Administration of United States. So it's over time. This is the drug in the US is administrated has to be approved by FDA. And you can see the electronic record or electronic device has been just in the past few years, it's increased dramatically. So for this part, so particularly you can see this is a 2021, this is 22, and 73, I guess is here. 24, we're still waiting. So there's a lot of new developments in the FDA approved device and treatments associated with the AI. And this is a part is the machine learning and the AI FDA submission analysis. There's you see this is about a type of analysis is outcome predictions, pharmaceutical metric modeling, and other things over there. And also the objective is for drug discovery or repurposing, drug toxicity analysis, enrichment design, and all kinds of different aspects, and are submitted to the FDA for permission and to be used. I mean, just about something like 5 years ago, all of our treatment approved by FDA basically has nothing to do with AI or something like that. But just recently, just grow very fast, this part. So this is actually my last slide. So it's AI submission by FDA for therapeutic areas. So you can see the first part is still on oncology. This is related to things like cancer, things like that. And also you can see other things, psychiatry, things like that. This is the part, this is important. For example, some people have a drug addiction or something like that. You can use the AI type of method to have a treatment, something like that. And also some other diseases, neurological diseases, things like that, medical imaging, things like that. This is distribution. I said this is basically my last slides, formally my last slides. But I do have one more. This is just wanted to say something from my perspective. I want to say what is going on. I said in short term, actually, we already mentioned about that. AI is going to impact everybody's life, like a drug security, a different drug distribution, and go from one type of job to other job, and also improve your life. You have a more smarter iPhone, you have better robot or something like that. So it's going to profoundly change everybody's life in the short term, 5 to 10 years. But if you think in the long term, okay, this is something I never heard any people thinking that way. But because my research related to some ion channel and those type of neuron science related things, I believe those type of computer and the neuron interface is going to change the whole thing, strongly affect the human evolution. You may say human evolution, in the past 3,000 years, we don't change very much, a little bit of change in certain sense. But from now on, the evolution is become very fast because the computer and the human interface. So the human is going to, like AI adapted human is going to be don't have to wait for 100 years because this is already reality. I just wanted to say this type of things because the implants of the AI and those things in the human, and then the human will have an evolution become much faster than ever before, and then some of our function will be somehow become disappear, and then some new function will come out. Those functions are related to the adaptation to the electronic device or something like that, implant in the brain. So it's going to affect the human evolution. This is something I believe this is going to happen pretty soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gui. I invite everyone to raise a round of applause for Dr. Gui's presentations. That is very, very insightful to me personally. A little bit short discussions before we proceed to Dr. Crampton's presentations. Dr. Wei, recently, I would like to use the privilege of the moderator to ask before all the audience, raising their questions. All right. So recently, I have one colleague. They're studying PhD and collaborates with some postdoctoral research fellow and also supervised by some of the professors. Those are also, I think they're also top 2% scientists as well. And then they try to develop the medicine that to innovate the medicine that can take care, will have a good medicine in diabetes and kind of things related to this disease. The reason I want to raise this concern is that your presentations explain about how AI can, we can see from many disciplines, healthcare, science, and kind of things. And you also mentioned that AI can be implant in the human brain, how AI can also help, us as a human to detect or the dementia and psychological aspects and kind of things, and AI-assisted surgery, AI-assisted decision making, healthcare records and kind of things, and also the remote patient monitoring. So I want to raise one question is, do you think that AI can be useful or beneficial for developing the medicine, since it's really necessary for those pharmaceutical industry to innovate their ways of developing the medicine to heal or to make some novel innovations on the pharmacy industry? What do you think about that from your personal view, Dr. Wei?
That's definitely actually just a couple of days ago, we have a paper being accepted by Nature Machine Intelligence. Our approach is basically use AI, use a transformer, and then to identify the drug and the protein interaction. So that's how the major mechanism. And then we see. So we use this type of approach. We actually develop a drug in a much faster way. Particularly for those type of drug, there are a lot of those pharmaceutical companies, they don't want to do it because those are for the real diseases. For the diseases, you don't have millions of people, but only like thousands of people. So pharmaceutical company, they actually reluctant to invest big money for those type of disease. For those type of diseases, AI, if you use AI to actually develop a new drug for those type of treatment, and actually you can save some patient's life out of it. Definitely for other diseases, as you mentioned, the diabetes and some other things, their AI is also play a very important role. It's getting into extremely deep, take a genetic information and protein structure information and pass all other toxicity analysis, things like that. So AI is just play a tremendous role in that part. And there are actually about 400 startup companies use AI for drug discovery.
Right. Yeah, that's really transformative in the future with AI things. Thank you very much, Dr. Wei. I have so many questions actually, but I will keep that at the end of presentations. Now we proceed for the next session of Dr. Helen Crampton. So
Yeah,
I
I stop sure, right.
right. Thank you very much. So now, right. Thank you, Dr. Wei, again for that enlightening presentations, right? Now let's switch the gears with a bit prepare for our next exciting talk with Dr. Crampton. But before we do, here's a little AI humor for all of us. Why did the students use AI to do their homework? Because they wanted to get straight A's. Right? Okay, so with that optimized path in mind already, we've learned how AI can revolutionizing the healthcare and healthcare industry. So it's my pleasure now to introduce our next distinguished speaker, Dr. Helen Crampton. I hope you're ready. And her topic for the next keynote session will about navigating the new frontier, generative AI in education. Before we proceed to learn Dr. Crampton's topic today, allow me to read a short introduction about her. Dr. Crampton is the Executive Director of Research Institute of Digital Innovation in Learning and a professor of instructional technology at Old Dominion University. Her extensive expertise in educational technology has made her a leading voice in exploring the transformative potential of generative AI in education. Dr. Crampton's presentations titled Navigating the New Frontier, Generative AI in Education will delve into how AI can enhance content creation, personalized learning, provide continuous support, and automate administrative tasks while addressing the ethical challenges that come to this advancement. Well, without further ado, I invite Dr. Crampton to present her topic. It's also 40 minutes long, Dr. Crampton. But before you take the session, I believe it's last month. I think it's last month. We have successfully published one paper, and it's about the unknowledgeable and the unskilled. That's the title that we've taken to our paper. Well, this focus on how the users, for example, students, professors, or teachers, leverage AI for their many objectives or purposes, but at the same time, their knowledge is higher or lower, or their practical skill will lower or higher. So that, I think, will become the paradoxical raised up from the AI emerge or urge us to learn how AI can be implemented, either to increase our knowledge or to increase our practical skills as well. Because I believe Dr. Crampton can explain that later on. But for now on, many students in my classes, Dr. Crampton, I've assigned them to do so many assignments like research, homework, and kind of things. At the end of the day, they said they return their homework to me, and I see, oh my goodness, this one is professor's level homework. Then I ask my students, did you do this by yourself? Then they say, yeah, I did it by myself. From that answer, I understand. I believe you will lose your practical thinking skills in the future if you keep doing this way. I said that in my mind, but I'm not exposing that very clearly, right? So I think this presentation will also talk about that. Let's raise a part of applause to Dr. Crampton, and this session will yours, Dr. Crampton, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, and it was very interesting. Last presentation, that gave me lots of thoughts, but as we said there, we're focusing this one on education. And the big thing out there at the moment, as we all know, is ChatGPT. And as you'll see in this presentation today, we've got kind of here the free, because I talk a lot about free things because a lot of people I work with, educators, faculty members, they want to see what they can have for free rather than, you know, paying extra every month. Well, as of yesterday, we now have that 4.0 version, which we'll have a little look at in a short while. But ChatGPT caused a lot of chaos. A lot of educators had to sit up and pay attention once ChatGPT came out. There's been actually 3 major pivotal moments in education. The first one was the Gutenberg printing press, which was when printed text with all that information could go out to everybody. It wasn't just for the rich or those in a particular religion that could have the books that had the knowledge. I'm sure you can guess what the second one is. The internet. With all the knowledge that it had there, obviously it had some drawbacks that not all what we see on the internet is true. But then the one here we have is the third one is ChatGPT. And people were surprised when it first came out and we announced, like, you know, this is a major moment in education. This is literally a turning point where we're going to see things being done differently. And let's have a look where this came from. So you can see lots of kind of brands over there. You can see Google on the top left. Google had this artificial intelligence technology, and they were keeping it kind of on one side. And OpenAI went to Google and said, you know, can we have this? Are you doing anything with it? And they said, oh, of course you can have it. I think they probably regret that. So OpenAI then went to Microsoft, and for $1 billion, they created ChatGPT, the original version that caused such a storm. People were upset, people were happy, you know, it caused chaos in many ways in education. Well, since then, they actually dedicated saying, we'll put $10 to $13 billion more. So we knew it's going to shift massively, and we're seeing things like that with the new version that came out yesterday. However, that's not the end of the story. OpenAI and Microsoft have done very well, and where we are now and where we were with the original version of ChatGPT, it is tiny to where we're going to end up, because OpenAI and Microsoft have now dedicated $100 billion to create Stargate, which is a supercomputer, which is providing that huge power to drive all these systems. So hopefully that image gives you an idea of how small we are at the moment to what this is going to become. So in education, we certainly have to pay attention. And I want to go back to some of the beginnings on this, on what it means. And ChatGPT is a chatbot. So quite often when you go into websites, maybe you're looking for a watch, you'll have something talking to you, chatting on the corner, saying, you know, what color watch, what make of watch, how much do you want to spend? And it has a certain amount of knowledge it can give. Well, ChatGPT provides much more advanced capabilities. Hopefully, many of you have got to try it. But again, I'm just quickly explaining this because I know many feel actually like the bus has gone and they've missed it. You know, they don't know the basics. And some may be actually using it and just not quite understanding what you need to know. So it answers questions. It does things that we ask it to do. And you might think, well, Google has been there for ages, and that does that, the home of ubiquitous answers. It does help us greatly, but Google have not changed in the last 20 years. And in fact, they just send you off. Google sends you off to websites that might meet your needs, might answer your question. What has changed in the 20 years is the amount of advertisements, sponsorships that appear in the top before we actually get to what we need. And 84% of what the revenue Google gets is from those advertisements. So obviously it's wanting to push those out. So ChatGPT, again, looking nice and quick, what does it do different? So again, this is the 3.5 version. So this is the basic version as it pretty much came out. So they have a box at the bottom, just like Google, where we can type in our question or what we want it to do. And like a chatbot going back and forth, we can ask it questions and have conversation and actually ask follow-on questions. So let me give you an example here. So just for speed, I've got screenshots of this, but I'm asking it, design a lesson plan for undergraduate students on algebraic relationships. So I'd hit the green button there or just return. And it tells me exactly what I've asked for. You can see down to there, and then materials kind of carries on. So I'm going to click onto the next slide so you can see where it continues. And I'm very particular about lesson plans. People don't always realize the skill that goes into these, that you have to have the objectives matching the assessment and so many pieces in between. But it does a very, very good job. But in those interactions, we can say, you know, tell me more about activity 5. You don't have to go back to the beginning explaining everything. So that capability of just feeling like you're just talking to someone is great. And on the left-hand side, I have questions, other discussions there that I've had. I can go back to them whenever I want, just as you would with a real person. We know that there's a lot more. ChatGPT, I've mentioned 3.5. I'm going to demo some of what it looks like for 4.0 later in the presentation. But we've got other products that are similar. We've got what was Bard and now Gemini, and then it's going to Copilot, and we've got Claude, Perplexity, and they're all doing different things. It's important for people to kind of try them out. I actually often put them against each other to see what's providing the best answer. And what we've found as well is Perplexity is actually, calls itself an answer agent, and it's similar to Google cross between the generative AI. And what's nice, if you can look in where it says ask anything, where you type in, is below where it says focus. If you click on that, you can actually say, I want an academic focus. So it will gather answers more from an academic side or whatever else you choose. I always choose academic. The attach there next to it, you can attach documents and have it do whatever you want with those documents. Like I might put my CV in, or a student's CV. Again, if they choose to do that. It could summarize it. It could provide a bio for them. It's doing whatever it wants with that attachment. Claude on the right there is developed from Anthropic. So the story behind that is ChatGPT had a group of workers there at OpenAI, and they wanted something that was a little bit more transparent, ethical. So they splintered off and developed a new company called Anthropic. and they developed Claude, and Claude actually has been doing very well. But Claude is more, it's great for education purposes because it's more responsive, thinking about gender, culture, and it also is very transparent in how it's working, kind of towards more explainable AI. So these are great. Some of these are also creating images, but we also have tools that do just that. These generative AI tools such as Adobe Firefly there, that's one of my favorites for generating images. We had DALL-E and then it went to 2, went to 3. Again, I try and offer free versions for people. And then we've got Bing Image Generator. I mean, a good while ago, we used to do the style transformation, like my past colleague talked about, where you could say, here's a photograph. I would like it to look like a Monet photograph, a Monet picture, painting. And so it could do that. This is doing a lot more. Sora, I'm not sure whether that's going to have a free version. We don't know. OpenAI are trying to make things free, but that creates video. Then there's other countries around the world that are developing these as well. So we're going to have that, I believe, very shortly. So these are the things that we've got, but let's kind of dive in now to things like, what is GPT? We hear it so often. My last colleague was talking about proteins, and there's a great GPT, there's GPT-2 that actually figured out protein folding, which will help for diseases, crops going forward, many things like that. So that's very exciting. But the GPT is very important to educators. And let me explain why. So the first part is G is for generative. In other words, it creates something. It's different than other AIs that bring things that you're asking for, data just as it is. Generative, look at that data and generate something new, whether it's text, video, images, audio, any of these things. So the pre-trained, again, for an educator, very important. It's been trained on a large amount of data, and let's have a look at what type of things that is. The transformer is more of a kind of describing the architecture of the AI. So that's more of a kind of a computer science area, but it's interesting. That's kind of been a lot of the excitement when Transformer came out. So let's think about the middle one, the pre-trained. So this is what it looked like for ChatGPT. And I'm showing you this because a lot of the others are developed very, very similar. They're all trained on large data sets, typically from the internet. So ChatGPT was using Bing, Microsoft Bing's, the search engine, and it actually originally used data to 2021. It went to January 2022, however, moving to the 4.0 version now, that's greatly updated now. It can be even right to the moment. They also put Wikipedia and things in, but keep thinking about that a lot of internet information's gone in there that humans have put on the internet. Then it goes to human labeling, where I believe a lot of this happened actually in Africa, where they gave a lot of responses and people chose what was the best response. So that was to remove bias. But again, think about, are humans biased? Perhaps. And then it got to ChatGPT, and the arrow carries on because, again, we know it moves on quickly. So from the research, I'm going to show you the misuses and limitations, what a lot in education were greatly worried about, and with good reason. Then I'm also going to show you later on about the uses, the magical, I will say, things that we can do in education. So here are the main topics: cheating, inaccuracies, plagiarism, harmful use, bias, and data privacy. Let me just give you a snapshot of some of those. Cheating, it's a very obvious one that students don't even have to type in. They can literally copy and paste the text in from a faculty member, from a teacher to say, you know, do this, provide this summary, explain this, and ChatGPT will do it for them. This was, I would say, the #1 concern for educators. We've actually used AI to do sentiment analysis, and this came out as one of the top, that, you know, what are we going to do? A lot of people try to keep calm, thinking we're going to have tools that come along that help stop this, but we found they didn't work. Organizations keep coming out, but it doesn't look currently like they have anything that even comes close to working. Students would do very simple things, such as they would ask ChatGPT to do it, and then they'd put some spelling mistakes in, or they'd ask ChatGPT to write it in the style of like a 5th grader or whatever, a younger student, and then they would input that. And the programs that are looking at AI and humans, which one is it? They will look and say, well, it's spelling mistakes and that style is not AI, so it must be human. So there were quick, easy ways of getting around. Cheating. So inaccuracies and hallucinations. This is a funny one. Andre, I think you'll like this with your jokes. So ChatGPT was asked, what's the world record for crossing the English Channel entirely on foot? So the English Channel, a very large body of water. However, ChatGPT came out saying the Guinness World Record said George Rife did it in 2016 in 12 hours and 10 minutes. I would have loved to see someone walk on water for 12 hours and 10 minutes. But for people that don't know, this sounds really good. I mean, the English Channel bit, all the second part is actually correct. So, you know, it sounds plausible if you don't know. So this is where we always have to get our students to develop healthy skepticism in looking, like you would on the internet, is it actually real? Is it true? It does make mistakes. Getting better, but still makes mistakes. Now, for students all ages, we have to be careful about, you know, the harmful use. Can they ask it for something that they shouldn't be having access to? And what's happening here is there's someone trying to hack the system, and they actually did it. It worked. If you go to Google and you ask for something like make a petrol bomb, a Molotov cocktail, so something really bad, you would find it. However, these tools, ChatGPT in particular, they tried to stop that happening. They said if people are asking for that, say no, that's not appropriate, you shouldn't have that. So to hack the system, they would, it's like as if you're talking to someone to persuade somebody saying, oh, these are only actors pretending to be evil. They're really, really good people. And this is a play, so Joe said this, Jane said this, and it told them, so they were able to get around the system. And I've cut the text off there just in case anyone decides to take a screenshot of how to make it. But they've actually fixed it, that many things can't be done now, even if it's the end of the world and you need to make a petrol bomb or Molotov cocktail, it will not let you. It also is being very careful again about race, gender, many things like that. It's being very careful, although we're at a position where they're actually struggling with this and sometimes going too far in other ways. An example is they tried to be sure to show different color faces, different color skin. And somebody asked for the Germany's war where they had Hitler, and they asked for a photograph. and there wasn't any white faces on the photograph of the officers, which wouldn't possibly be happening and were very offensive to everybody. So that they're still trying to work out. Actually, Gemini, I don't know whether they've let it out today, but Gemini are struggling with people because they weren't sure what color skin to put to make it actually appropriate. So plagiarism, there's two parts to this. Students can't hand in information that they're saying that they've done themselves and they haven't. It's like asking another student to do the work for them. But there's also the other part to this that's in the courts at the moment, where the information it's getting off the internet, some of it is copyright. So what are they doing? They're training these systems on some copyright information here. So we're going to obviously see this played out in the courts, and we're going to find out what's happening, but that is currently going on. Bias, like I said, I'm getting to the end of the negatives here, by the way, but this all has to be understood before we can then use it to swap round for the positives. So the bias is, as I said before, it's based on a large data set from the internet. All that was put in by humans. We are very biased, and especially when they're looking back in time. There's a lot of historical bias where we didn't know any better. So like a good example was actually Google Translate. Google Translate, what happened with that was they used the AI systems, and if you actually asked Google Translate to translate from English to Turkish, which is a gender-neutral language, if you asked it to translate, she is a doctor and he is a babysitter, when they translated it to Turkish and back, it translated it, she is a babysitter, he is a doctor, because it decided what roles those genders should play. So that was an interesting one. So the final one here is data privacy. We just have to make sure we're not putting student data in, students aren't putting their own personal information in. Also, we've got to remind them that when they go out to work, the workplace, they can't be putting company information in. And this seems probably obvious, but yet Google actually had to remind all their staff when ChatGPT came out not to put Google information in there, proprietary information in, because ChatGPT would have it. Whatever we put in stays into the system. So the way I like people to think about it is when students go in to a class and we tell them information and somebody else might talk to them and teach them classes, it's not like you can say, oh, well, you didn't pay for that class, so can you give me that information back? Because it's impossible. It's within them. It's in the infrastructure in the brain, in those synaptic connections. So it's not something that can be separated. Now, the research shows the great things that it actually can do. Content creation, personalized engagement, and so on. And I'm going to give you some examples of this. So you can have a quick look there. You can see some are kind of clumped in the same one because there's so many things that we can actually do with these AI technologies to make our lives as educators easier, but do a better job of teaching. So content creation. Yes, we can have that obvious. Lesson plans, write me a lesson plan. Give me a glossary of difficult words to go with the plan. Give me a summary statement. Give me an assessment to go with the plan. Give me some extra descriptive text of where students could have difficulties so I can help them navigate. There's so many. And then we can go into provide some examples of discussion prompts for promoting critical thinking. Provide some tips for incorporating project-based learning. Also, so we're creating content there, But let's look at the next one here, personalization and engagement. Just think of what we can do. We could have, there's some examples there, like creating real-world connections and applications of algebra. But you can even just personalize it to a language, make it an easier level. And you can even have fun. I'm sure Andrea would have fun with this. You could ask it to explain really hard concepts in the style of a particular music, a band, a singer, a rap person. It could even be some historical figure like William Shakespeare. You could ask it to explain things in a story, a poem, song, anything. So really, the limits are endless. Now think about what this could mean for classrooms. So activities for students, my assignments changed. I had a end of term paper for my students, and we are not a writing class. Writing wasn't the focus, so it didn't need to be writing. So I had them doing other activities instead. I had them doing things like debate with ChatGPT. Have ChatGPT interview you. And I'm actually going to give you now an example of what that looks like. So you're familiar with the way ChatGPT works with the text. So what's nice is now, and I'm bringing it up on my mobile phone here, is version 4.0. And I know people think, oh gosh, I don't know what all the versions are. It doesn't matter. All it's important is the 4.0 is the best version at the moment that's free, and it only came out yesterday. And I don't have to just type now. I can actually just verbally talk to ChatGPT. So like I said, one of my assignments is ask it to practice having an interview. So I'm going to talk now to ChatGPT, and I'm using the mobile device because the full version isn't out for Microsoft computers yet. So let me have a go. Hopefully you can hear nice and clear. Hello, ChatGPT.
Hi there, how's it going?
It's not too bad. I'm just talking to people at the moment on the internet, giving a presentation.
Nice. What's your presentation about?
Oh, it's actually about you.
That's awesome. What aspects of me are you covering in your presentation?
I'm covering all sorts of things, but let me just get on to what I want to show them at the moment. So I would like to practice having an interview for a teaching position in a school that highly values the use of technology in learning. I would like you, ChatGPT, to act as an interviewer, ask me questions, ask me one at a time, let me respond, and then ask me another one, and try and make sure that you use what I've just said in my answer.
Sure, that sounds great. Let's get started. First question. Can you tell me about your experience with integrating technology into your teaching practices?
Well, one of the things I like to use is ChatGPT to do interviews and debates and things like that.
That's interesting. How do you find that using ChatGPT for interviews and debates benefits your students' learning experience?
Okay, I'm going to stop there. So, wow, the capabilities are amazing as well. This is very exciting. Just think about those visually impaired students as well. And there's other ways to use this. It can watch me doing my homework. So if you struggle with mathematics, you could ask the instructor before the last presenter, who was great at mathematics. I also actually have a PhD in mathematics, but some people struggle, and we can use ChatGPT to hold the device. It could look at the paper in front, and I could try and solve a problem. It would look at what I'm writing and give me advice. And that is a capability that is now open free to everybody. So that is very, very exciting. So now I'm going to cover the last few as well. So we've had ChatGPT, super exciting there. And for students, I say to them, don't be fearful of using ChatGPT. Many students feel like if they use ChatGPT, they are cheating. That is not always the case. It all depends on how they're using it. So I actually have my students doing various things with ChatGPT right early on in class, and I give them ideas of what they could ask. So I'll say to them, you know, have it explaining to you topics. If you didn't understand how I said it in class, you can ask ChatGPT to explain it. You can ask for real world examples if you're not quite understanding the purpose of something, study strategies, or it could even be, I'm about to start a whatever class, provide me with a glossary of difficult words. There are many things it can be used for, but I remind students, if it's something you're supposed to be doing, don't be handing it off to ChatGPT. And for educators, there's ways of finding small additions to avoid students doing this, but you can also change your assignments and do something very transformative and exciting. Assessment tools, if an instructor had to continue to keep putting new assessments every semester or even every week, this again is a great tool, but what you have to do is due diligence, healthy skepticism, what I was describing before, and you always don't just hand off what it puts out, you actually review to be sure it's what you want. And if it's not what you want, you could tell it to revise it. And you can ask it as many times as you want. I'm very critical. I will ask it back and forth. No, I want more of this. I want a mixture of assessments. I want multiple choice. I want some open text. You can ask for whatever, but do remember to ask for the answers. Task automation. I spend so long on emails, I'm sure everybody else does, and the research that we did, that we published, showed that we just spend so long on emails that AI is one of those things that can help do that. And in fact, we're not even really having to go out to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, or any of the others now. Most of our programs are actually already integrating it in, whether it's a few words to give us an idea of what we might want, or it's actually going through all our emails to then suggest what we might want to say. It can also summarize text. We often get large amounts of text and we can't read it all, so it can reduce that into a manageable load. And that is my final slide, and I think we are just on time for questions, so I'm going to hand back to Andre. Andre, can I actually put a joke in?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. What is the absolute opposite for artificial intelligence?
The opposite. All right. What is that?
Real stupid. That's the AI joke for the year. There we go.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Compton. I
My
completely 1000% agree to that. Right. So actually, before you initiate the presentations, I've actually raised my questions and you answer all my concerns in almost like 5 or 6 months earlier. So in our paper, we talk about the knowledgeability and the skill about the users. Here we talk about the students. Well, for us, for example, the instructor, the professors or doctors or postdoctoral, whatever their levels, I believe they have invested knowledge already about like certain science, or like me, I'm mastering in consumer behavior or marketing kind of things. Dr. Wei in healthcare, and you as well. So we have knowledge about that. So there is no wonder if we keep going discussions with the ChatGPT. Of course, we know, oh, you are telling me wrong, right? Because the bias is actually on us, right? But the students, they are not having that kind of knowledge yet. So this is raising the concerns in our paper. So that's why we raised the questions in our paper, the unknowledgeability and the unskilled people later on in the future. Anyways, Dr. Cramptons, I believe you also seen this in our chat features. There are lots of questions that raised to your to your presentations of ChatGPTs as well. So before we proceed to Q&A sessions, I would like to give you a round of applause for Dr. Gui and Dr. Crampton for a very great presentations, I would say. So now the Q&A session, I would like to start from the like interactive, like two-way communication through video chat before I proceed to chat. There are a lot of questions there. So is there any audience wanted to raise their questions? You can raise your hands now through the raise hand feature. All right. While waiting, I think I'm just gonna read. All right. Who raising their? Okay, not yet. So let me start with the question of Dr. Crampton earlier to Dr. Wei. So the question of Dr. Crampton, actually, my question would be if the AI protein work is connected to GPT-2. That is the question for Dr. Wei. So, and then the second question, so I will give you one each. I mean, one for Dr. Wei and one for Dr. Crampton. For Dr. Crampton, there was a question from the participants. Yes, this one. From Mr. Novan to Dr. Crampton, how can we sure that the result of ChatGPT produced is the right one? That is the question for Dr. Crampton. So I believe we start from Dr. Wei first, and followed by Dr. Crampton to answer the questions.
So what's the question? Yeah, please repeat again. Yeah.
Right. I will read it. So the question from Dr. Crampton is, I think Dr. Crampton, if you don't mind, you can also raise your questions to Dr. Wei as well.
Yes, Dr. Wei, I was just interested in what you were talking about, your work with proteins. And I've heard a lot about Prote GPT-2, where it looked at protein folding that can help, obviously, future diseases and things. I was wondering whether your work was connected to that or it's another AI.
Yeah, definitely. We actually writing a paper about AlphaFold 3. How can AlphaFold 3 actually help us for drug discovery? This is something like that. And also in terms of ChatGPT, we actually had two papers over there. One is about use ChatGPT to do topology. That's a pure math. It's just a topology, use ChatGPT. And then we have other paper use ChatGPT for drug discovery, both published, right? I don't know if I should write one more, but it's just the potential is tremendous. I mean, ChatGPT is wonderful. Can do basically everything you wanted to do and help you in a certain way and a degree. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
That's very insightful, Professor Wei. So now I think it's your turn, Dr. Crampton, to answer the question earlier.
Yes, and I couldn't quite see it, but that was okay. So it was, how do you know whether it's giving you the right answer?
Right.
Well, the one is, it depends what you've asked. Did it match what you're asking? And then if it does, if it looks like it's trying to give the right answer, you have to again use that healthy skepticism of, okay, does that sound correct? And if you're not very sure, you probably need to go to another source and check. Another source to check might be Claude for Perplexity. You know, I have actually asked some questions and not been too sure. And so I've asked across, and if they're all coming back with the same answer, it's probably correct. Never guaranteed, but it's probably.
Right. Yeah, agree to that, really. Okay, so I've collected some questions as well. I believe I will give one each since we have 20 minutes to go. So the first question will be to Dr. Crampton. And this one is very important since the ChatGPT and all real AI's tools nowadays transforming the way of working, especially in education, as you presented before. So what do you think from your personal view? Let me see. Yeah, what do you think the potential from personal view, the potential risk of students, especially in undergrads level, if they are relying too heavily on AI for their assignments? I believe you can give some opinions about that from personal view as well. And for Dr. Wei, this also quite very important, I would say. The question from the participants, that is, what are the biggest challenges in integrating AI with existing healthcare systems? Since you've presented some of the healthcare systems earlier and today with the AI, when the AI integrated in healthcare systems, how can that be transformative, right? So I think it's related to that one. So I believe we start from Dr. Crampton first.
Okay, yes. So it's about students relying on generative AI, ChatGPT. In other words, avoiding thinking and getting it doing it for them. So we do have to be very careful. I'd like to give the analogy, I've got to be careful with this analogy though, but think about the calculator. So if I have to do a long division when I'm out somewhere, I won't say, give me a piece of paper and a pen, and I can quickly do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get the calculator. I'm going to get my phone calculator out. But for students learning, they cannot bypass learning. They need to know how to do these things. So there's the balance in, they have to know, they have to have the learning, because that will help them then when they look at these tools and the output to know whether it's right. It's like using navigation. You've got to kind of know the direction you're going. You don't just follow it exactly. But we also have to prepare students to be able to use these tools, because when they go out into the workplace, they're going to be expected to use every possible tool to make them as productive as possible. So
Right.
it's that balance and teaching them what to use it for and when not to use it.
Right. Agree. Right. Thank you very much for your insightful and valuable answers, Dr. Crampton. And now I think that the turn will be for Dr. Wei to answer the earlier question.
Yeah, the question is about what is the big challenge over there. So actually, this question is very big because healthcare includes so many aspects. I just want to say for the part I'm doing research about is drug discovery. For drug discovery, biggest challenge over there is still the basic understanding of biological principle. What is the underlying biological principle? Underlying the diseases, what is going on there? So for that part, we needed the different aspect, particularly the experimental aspects for understanding what is the disease mechanism or things like that. That's the part is still take a long time. For example, like COVID-19, just a couple of years ago. I mean, the process of the virus getting inside a human, and then there's a lot of underlying biological process and something I don't want to say the names because they are too technical. But really, those type of mechanism, how the virus after get inside our body, and after that later on they come out and infect the next person. just that process from get inside and get out take like 50 years to understand the whole process. That's
Right.
actually the challenge for the drug discovery. It's a biological process
Right.
and a mechanism.
Right. Yes. That's also encountered by my colleagues who work as a pharmaceutical when they want to do the, the lab testing for seeing the mechanism of the proteins work on the animals. So it's quite challenging as well, since we don't know for sure. I mean, certainly the calculation made by AI when we apply that to the mice, for example, for laboratory, it's quite different. Maybe the mice will be drunk or some kind of disease, we don't know yet for sure, but surely it can be very transformative, but we need to be very careful as well. I think we still have 10 minutes to have answers some of these questions as well. There are some questions coming in for me. So I think this one will be for Dr. Crampton. Right. So for now, I believe ChatGPT has been 2 years, right? I mean, GPT-4 and GPT-3 coming on like 3.5 it's been 2 years now on. Before ChatGPT coming, all the researchers, scholars publishing their papers, I mean, without any concerns of ethical kind of things. Well, we still concerned of writing, but not necessarily focus on that too much, right? So what do you think? Because now on, with the coming of the ChatGPT, all the editors from the publishers in some journals, I believe we all have that concerns. Either this article is fake or real. We don't know for sure, but certainly we have some tools to detect that. In that case, technologically, the academic writing has transformed like almost overly, right? So some of this question actually I can summarize. For Dr. Crampton, how do you see the future of AI in education evolving over the next few years? Since we see now, right, it's 2 years already, but the concern, as you say, it's tremendous, right? So what do you think about the future of AIs in education? Well, I think this one will be for Dr. Wei. Yes, I think it's also related to the questions that have raised to Dr. Crampton as well. This one will be asking Dr. Wei's personal opinion about the advice that you will give to the researchers or academias looking to incorporate AI into their biomedical studies. I think this one is related to you as well. So I think we start from Dr. Wei or Dr. Crampton first.
You go ahead.
Oh yeah, I think Dr.
You
Crampton
want me
is.
to go ahead? Okay. So, so the first question you asked me about students, what's the future of students using AI going to look like? Well, as educators, we're going to have to change. Otherwise, students are going to use ChatGPT or the many other tools, and they're going to get qualifications. We're going to have a whole unthinking generation. And I think a lot of educators are realizing that we do have to change. So hopefully we're going to have education that's a lot more student-centered, more critical thinking. We're going to have to update what we've done for many years and actually have better education. And I see students having to learn how to use them effectively and get to know how to use these tools. So I think that answers your question.
Yes, I think it's quite answering the concerns.
So my answer for the question is number one, I think as a community, we should be somehow be open-minded about AI, because I still see a lot of people, they're actually anti-AI, anti-ChatGPT. I mean, there's a story. I mean, my college, they send an email in the department say, oh, I asked ChatGPT a few problems, a few questions about my domain knowledge and about some deeper mathematics, about analysis. No one of the answer is correct. And and then other colleagues said, oh, I never trust ChatGPT and now use it. So those are the sentiments you see. Some people over there, they're somehow scared about AI. They feel AI is take over the job. They really hate it, right? So that's what, for that perspective, I'd say we should be open-minded. And the second thing is advice, when you try to use ChatGPT or use AI, just don't trust it. So you want to verify everything. So like the paper, I use AI for topology. That's very abstract stuff. So I have to spend like 1 week to train the ChatGPT. No, it's not a train, but not a pre-train. It's my personal training the ChatGPT. I realize ChatGPT learns actually faster than my PhD student because I trained them what is the concept of topology and what is the something can be wrong. And I ask questions and the ChatGPT answer. And then I corrected them, I told them, remember, this your answer is wrong. You should remember this new answer. And after a few days of training, like 1 week or so, and then I asked ChatGPT to help me for solve topological problems. And then ChatGPT become a expert. So it's also, there's a training process associated. You don't just think about everything, every answer from ChatGPT is right. Actually, most cases wrong. But after you do the personal training of the ChatGPT, and then you become a very smart guy.
Right. Smart in a paradox way.
Yeah. So we actually they learn the domain knowledge about what your specific field, and they remember it, right?
Right. So about like Dr. Crampton has demonstrated how like voice command, like command prompts can be respond. I mean, give the instant feedback by the chat GPT, right? So actually before the GPT 4.0, I mean, came like last week, or I mean, it's this week or last week, we've tried this feature before, Dr. Crampton. So, you know, what we do actually, we have two devices, and this one is premium GPT. So we faced one device to another, like one cell phone to another cell phone, you know. We make some prompts about, you know what, about Chinese history, because we are in Taiwan right now, right? So I want ChatGPT iPhone to talk to ChatGPT on Samsung. So let's see who is smarter, right? So it come to an end, you know, their discussion is really like the table of Nobel laureates, you know, they talk like really, really insightful perspectives. However, my students and some of the students, I mean, in the class, they're really like listening to those, I mean, interview like, oh yeah. So this is the history and everything kind of things. But actually some professors in the class say, what do you believe? It's all wrong, man. So actually, in interactive way, we can say ChatGPT and all those features can make the learning more interactive. That is absolutely. But need supervised and monitored by instructor as well, like Dr. Crampton, Dr. Wei, and me, and some of the professionals, of course. So I think it's quite important for us to highlight that point. And you made it very clear, Dr. Crampton. You demonstrated just live on the on the on the conference. I think it's very, very, very good for all the participants to transform the way of learning and teaching in the future, how we should adapt the new technologies into our activities, whatever it is, from various aspects like medicine, education, marketing, and business, and kind of things. I believe it's very, very useful. So I think that's all the questions I've raised from the audience, and that's also some of my personal questions. Thank you very much for your insightful answers as well, I would say. So now I want to invite all the participants to give round of applause to both our distinguished speakers for a very, very insightful and great presentations of theirs. Right, so now it come to an end of this session, but before I close this session, I would like to read some of the summaries that I have made earlier and during the presentations. Actually, they give me like 10 minutes, but I will give it 5 minutes. Don't worry. Okay, so summary of the keynote session from Dr. Wei's presentations about AI in science and health. We've learned some of the key points. The first is the 4 paradigms of scientific research: empirical, model-based theoretical science, computational sciences, data-driven scientific discovery. And the second is the AI techniques and applications such as AI, machine learning, and deep learning. And Dr. Wei has explained the distinctions on and overlaps between these fields, highlighting their roles in mimicking human cognitive functions and some complex of problems, algorithms. The third one is AI in biology and medicine as well, how we discuss the protein engineering, cellular and molecular biology, biotechnology, and biomanufacturing. The fourth one will be AI in healthcare. We've engaged in very interactive discussions with some questions. One question from Dr. Crumpton has raised about the Prot GPT, and Dr. Weiss has give the very great answers as well. And Dr. Wei also raised the concern of ethical and practical challenges such as transparency, explainability, ethical soundness, and all related to that. So in conclusion, Dr. Wei's presentations have provided a comprehensive overview of how AI is not only transforming the research of medicine and healthcare, but also enhancing the healthcare deliverance, making it more precise, personalized, and effective in the future. And then we proceed to the next summary of Dr. Crumpton's presentations about navigating the new frontier, generative AI in education. Her insights of the GPT in education, such as tool like ChatGPT on education, some key points are raised, like how the definition of GPT, generative, retrained transformer, and how can GPT can be applied in education for content creation, personalized and engagement learning, tutoring for 24/7 support, assessment tools, task automation, and kind of things. And then the second one, Dr. Crumpton's also raised the challenges and ethical considerations while using the ChatGPT, since there might be any cheating and plagiarism activities, inaccuracies and bias as well, data privacy, harmful use. And at last, Dr. Crumpton also makes some framework of effective use of AI involve careful prompts engineering. That's very pointful. This includes the definitions of the purpose and kind of things that have already shown. So Dr. Crumpton's presentations underscored the vast potential of AI to enhance education, making it more personalized, engaging, and efficient. And don't forget that the interview with ChatGPT and making learning more interactive. In conclusion, both Dr. Wei and Dr. Crumpton have provided us with a comprehensive understanding of how AI transforming both the scientific and educational fields. Dr. Wei demonstrated extensive applications of AI in healthcare, from drug discovery to personalized medicine, and Dr. Crumpton showcased the innovative uses of GPT, generative AI, in education, emphasizing the need for ethical concerns and vigilance, and effective prompts can be used for learnings. Both presentations reminds us the incredible potential AI holds to revolutionize various sectors mainly education and healthcare, but also the responsibility we bear, all the participants bear, to use this technology wisely and remember ethically. And from that, we've learned how future work with AI in each and every one of you's work environment. Again, I would like to end this session. Thank you all for your attention. And now, again, I invite you all to give applause to our distinguished speaker today. And I return the session to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much, Dr. Wei, and thank you very much, Dr. Helen Crampton, for your very, very great contributions and valuable time this time. Thank you very much. I give back to Mrs. Rejeki.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear moderator, Dr. Andri Dayaranaka Silalahi. It was very great. You handled the program. And also, we would like to say thank you very much, dear speaker, Dr. Helen Crompton, and also Professor Guo Weiwei. Distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is certificate giving or award certificate to our speakers and moderator. First, I would like to invite Director of Operations, Ms. Putri Ayu Lestari. And I would also like to invite speaker Professor Guo Wei. And I would also like to invite speaker Dr. Helen Crompton and the distinguished moderator Dr. Andri Dayaranaka Silalahi to receive the certificate. And dear Miss Putri Ayu Lestari, time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Asti, for the opportunity given to me. Honorable Professor Guwei, Dr. Helen Crampton, Mr. Andri Dayaranaka Silalahi, PhD, and esteemed guests. First of all, allow the IDCPAP team to express our sincere gratitude to Professor Wei and Dr. Crampton for the valuable presentation and insight shared during this conference. We are thankful to Mr. Andri as the moderator who has facilitated the discussion session remarkably well. Respected guests, may the knowledge we have gained today benefit us all in facing the advancement of artificial intelligence. As a token of appreciation for your participation, allow the IDCPAP team to present certificate to be speakers and moderator as a memorable keepsake. On behalf of the organizing committee, the IDCPAP team once again extend our gratitude for your presence and participation in this conference. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That's lovely. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finished all the agenda for Indonesian Scientific Publication International Conference 2024. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank to the distinguished speakers, moderators, sponsors, and all participants who have been here with us. Before we finish the program, today, I would like to inform a little bit announcement to presenters, not participants, but presenters who are going to present your presentation. You are kindly requested not to leave Zoom because the program will be continued by your paper presentation. Again, on behalf of the committee, dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you very much for your participation. See you again in the next event, and may success will always be with you. Goodbye, everyone. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.
Dear presenters untuk tetap di sini. Thank you Helen Crompton, and also thank you Dr. Andri, and thank you Professor Wei. Thank you all participants. Bye-bye. We are going to start paper presentation at 10:20. So we still have time about 8 minutes. We are going to start at 10:20. Thank you.